Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today we are testing out so many new products while getting ready for the day, and I want to begin by talking about skin. As far as lotions and potions, my skincare routine has remained basically the same for the last few weeks, probably few months. Of course, every day I go in with my ERINSKIN Illumina face mask, and I've been using the face mask for the last 3 or 4 months consistently, but recently I also started using the ERINSKIN Illumina neck and chest mask. This has been a game changer, and as a longtime lover of red light therapy and ERINSKIN partner, I have to share these with you. One of the biggest reasons I love the Illumina face mask more than any other red light therapy mask I've tried is because it is so lightweight, so comfortable to wear, and it's hands-free. I turn it on, select the setting. Usually I like to wear my mask on P2. I stick the remote in my pocket, and then I like to multitask during my 10-minute treatment. It is so simple, so easy. I store it right next to the bed in my nightstand, so it's easy to remember. It takes the same charger as my iPhone 15, so as soon as the battery dies, I'm able to charge it right there. It has 360 medical grade LED bulbs, and you're able to do red, infrared, and blue light therapy treatments all in one session, which is so unique. So the face mask is going to target wrinkles, fine lines, dark spots, inflammation, and acne all at once. Until recently, it's been the only beauty device I've ever tried that I've remained consistent with. But now we also have the neck and chest mask, which I absolutely love. You can use them simultaneously. This was made for me. I've been very vocal about all of the sun damage that I have on my chest, all of the treatments that I've done, all of the money that I've spent, all of the time that I've put into trying to help improve the appearance of the skin on my chest. I love that I now have a red light therapy treatment that I can do in the comfort of my own home every single day, and this is going to help with collagen production. Also lightweight, also very comfortable, and lays flat in the drawer so it doesn't take up too much space. I am so excited to share my before and after pictures when I'm ready. I've only been using this for the last few weeks, but I absolutely love it so far, and I don't remember the last time I was this excited about a skincare product. Right now, ERINSKIN has some incredible promotions going on, and I know you're going to want to check them out, so make sure you click the link down in the description box. It'll take you to all of the information. We actually have 2 new foundations that we need to discuss. I ordered the brand new Hourglass, but today we're going to talk about this new Anastasia. This is the Impeccable Blurring Second Skin Matte Foundation, and this is shade 2WP. I love the glass bottle. It looks very luxurious. I think this formula will be better for the makeup look since I have a very glamorous eyeshadow palette from NARS to try today. Hopefully this shade match will work. I really loved the Anastasia Beauty Balm that launched last year in the stick. I want to say that's the only other Anastasia foundation I've tried. Ooh, this definitely feels different. It feels very thick. Why did I think this had medium coverage? This is definitely giving full coverage. Good thing I have a lot of skincare on, so it's gliding really nicely. So far, so good. It is definitely a full coverage foundation, but wow, that looks really nice. It's almost reminding me a bit of the One Size foundation, which I also really liked. What is it called? Full Beat, something like that. It has been so long since I've done my makeup on camera. Feels a little bit strange. And the lighting isn't the best today because it's so dark out. It's the middle of the afternoon, but we have really gray skies today in Miami. I have my normal light set up. My ring light looks like it's dying. It's maybe operating at 50%, if that. I think it's gonna go at any moment, so I probably need to replace my ring light. But if I'm looking sort of dark, it's because it is pitch black in here besides those lights. My first impression is that it's very thick, it's very opaque. Even if you go in with a very small amount, it's just thick and opaque, tons of pigment. So it ends up looking a little bit like face paint. I can definitely see it sitting on top of the skin, but I don't think it's meant to be super natural. I think if you want a glowy, luminous, no makeup, the Beauty Balm is definitely the best product. This is for a full face of makeup, very perfected. You're not going to see your skin shining through. Makeup that you can tell is a full face of makeup. doesn't look overly dry. It still feels sort of supple and hydrated, so I don't think it looks too dry or dusty. It's giving very perfecting, very blurring, but not second skin. Moving on for now to eyes, I received this gorgeous eyeshadow palette from NARS. This is the Afterglow Tempting eyeshadow palette. It's a 9-pan palette, 3 mattes, 1 satin, and 5 sparkly shades. It reminds me a little bit of Pat McGrath Labs or Old School MAC, really beautiful. This color story definitely says evening, special occasion, getting really dressed up. I have to dive into some of these sparkly shades, so with a flat shader brush, I'm going into this top center shade right here. This is Sweet Nothing is the name of this eyeshadow. It's such an interesting color. It's kind of a silvery gold pewter. I'm not sure. This is going all over the lid. That is so pretty with nothing underneath. Wow. That might be one of the most beautiful eyeshadows. I don't know if the camera is really going to pick this up. I was so tempted to dive into that matte brown and put that on the crease the way I normally would, and I'm really glad I didn't do that and instead went straight to the sparkle, because there's something really special about this shadow by itself. I don't think you need anything else. Remember when everyone was going crazy about those Patrick Ta sparkly eyeshadows? This is just as gorgeous. I actually think this is a little bit more unique. It looks like an evening shade. There's some sort of base, but it almost just looks like your skin is shimmering. There's so much versatility, and you can get really creative combining all of these shades, but that one eyeshadow by itself is a moment. It's beautiful on its own, but I also think this would look really pretty with maybe a darker shadow for something a little bit smokier, more dramatic. For the sake of experimenting a little bit, I also want to try this really frosty shade up here. This is Love Me Not. I have a feeling this pearl is going to be amazing as well. Just gonna tap a little bit of that on the center. Ooh, yeah, that's pretty. Very sparkly, very dazzling. It feels very Ice Princess or Snow Princess, which is fitting considering all of the people who have snow right now. I'm a little bit jealous seeing my friends in North Florida and all of my friends in Louisiana having snow days and their yard is just covered in snow. And then here I am in Miami and it's rainy and basically the same as always. I think the eye look is perfect with nothing else, just the shimmer, but I do want to try at least one more shade. I'm not going to go into this warm shade up here like I normally would. So instead, I'm going to just lightly tap down here in this deeper matte. At least it's slightly cooler toned. It's kind of a plummy, deep plummy brown. Very lightly, I'm going to build that up in the outer V. Don't want this look to be too dark. It's definitely a romantic palette. It reminds me of Valentine's Day or a date night, getting dressed up. And then same thing on the other side, building up a little depth, but not much. I definitely have some fallout on my cheeks, which is expected with a really sparkly eyeshadow. I figured I would have some sparkles, which is why I started doing eyes after my foundation. What I'm not loving, or what disappoints me a little bit, is that I'm seeing a lot of creasing from the foundation. Maybe I can fix it when I go in with concealer and set everything with powder finally. Maybe that will help with the creasing, but I feel like the foundation is settling a little bit. It's not looking its best. The eyeshadow, I think, is incredible. Before I go in with concealer or cream bronzer, I want to go in with my cream blush first because I have this new shade from Huda Beauty. This is the blush filter in Ube Cream. I've been experimenting and playing around with this blush shade and I have some thoughts. I don't think this is the most flattering shade on my skin tone. If I go in with a small amount of product and blend it out, it looks okay. But it does blend out pretty light, and so of course you're going to be tempted to go back and add more. Did 3 dots across the cheek. I don't think this is the shade of blush that really can be built up. And see, I don't know if it's because it is a little bit darker in here, but I feel like today it's looking incredibly purple, whereas before, whenever I've applied this or whenever I sit at the vanity, it looks like a purpley pink. Right now, it's looking very, very purple. But do you see, it's quite light on the skin. If I were to keep building it up and keep adding this blush, I think it would look bad eventually. It just looks sort of jarring because it's not a very natural flush. You know, most blushes, if you go in with a peach or even a red or a pink, it mimics the way your skin naturally looks when you're blushing or you're flushed or you're overheated. Whereas purple or violet is not a natural color, so it doesn't look natural and it sort of detracts focus, I think, from the rest of the makeup. I don't know. The first time I used it, I hated it, and then I kept playing with it, and I just think it's one of those shades where less is more, at least for my skin tone. I'm going to do concealer next, but first I'm going in with this LYS cream bronzer. And this is shade No Limits or Motivate. After I finished my Fenty cream bronzer, I moved the LYS to the top drawer. I've had it a really long time, so I need to use it up if I can. And it's really creamy. It's a beautiful shade. Very natural and easy to use. I mean, this has been a viral product for years. Quickly, I'm going in with my Fenty concealer. This is the concealer that never dies. I've had it for so long. Every week I think, okay, it's going in the empties bin this week. Nope. I'm blending that out with the BK Beauty A506 brush. One of the best concealer brushes. The kitten paw, I want to say they call this. I'm pretty sure Huda broke the internet when she first introduced us to this powder. This is the Ube Birthday Cake Easy Bake Loose Baking and Setting Powder. This is the new packaging. It's rounded edges. Doesn't really make a difference to me. I don't have any severe thoughts one way or another on the packaging, but the shade is very interesting. Now, even when you look at it, it's not just pictures. In person, it looks very neon. It's a strange color. Ube Birthday Cake isn't really pink. It's not really purple. It's pinky purple. In most of the social posts I've seen surrounding this launch, people really pack the powder on their face. I think for effect, it's sort of novel. It looks kind of crazy and you think, ooh, what's gonna happen when they dust it away? But I read somewhere or I heard someone say that Huda recommended not packing a ton of powder, but instead sort of lightly dusting it. I had a similar experience with the powder as I did with the blush. The first time I used it, I hated my makeup. It looked nuts. Less is more with this powder. I'm gonna start with a brush and just tap a little bit. If I go in with a small amount of powder, I think up close you can tell that it's not a white powder, that it has a little bit of a pinky purple glow to it, just a smidge, but it doesn't take away from the makeup and it still looks brightening, but everything looks nice and set. If you don't like a brush and you prefer a velour puff, you can still go in with your little puff, but just tap off the excess. I like to press in the powder right here on the cheek. I just want to make sure the concealer is nice and set. See there, I applied a little bit too much and I can definitely tell it's a little bit pink. For under the eye, I think it's okay. But for the rest of the face, I just prefer a normal powder. The blush is so faint on my cheek, I can barely see it. So I'm gonna go in with just a little more blush on either side. Between the two products, I think the Ube Birthday Cake Setting Powder is definitely my favorite. With a small pencil brush, I'm going back into this sparkly shade up here in the palette, and I'm going to very carefully run this beneath the lower lash line. I don't want to get sparkle all over my face, but I also don't want to go with anything darker. I cannot get over this shade of eyeshadow. Is so pretty. This ties the look together, but it's not making the eye look too smoky or too dark. Same brush, I quickly wiped it off, and now I'm going into this snowy shade right here, and I'm going to use this to highlight the inner corner. Very lightly. Eyes are now almost completely done. I quickly filled in my eyebrows. I did a little liquid eyeliner on the top lash line. I'm going to curl my lashes, and then I'm going in with a new mascara. It's the new Gucci mascara. I've been such a huge fan of the Gucci L'Obscur. For the longest time, that was my holy grail. It was one of my most restocked purchases from Sephora. But then they just came out with this Le Magnetisme mascara, and they actually improved the L'Obscur. It's everything I love in a wand. I really like a thin wand with straight bristles that aren't too thick or spiky. That way I can comb through every single lash, and I really like a wand that has a slight curve to it. The L'Obscur wand was perfect, the formula was perfect, but it didn't have any sort of curve, whereas this one is a little bit curved, so it allows you to get right to the base of the lash line. It gives you so much separation, so much volume. I did receive the new Huda Beauty Ube Lip Gloss as well, but this is the only other new lip product I have to test. It's the Lawless Lip Gloss in the shade Velvet Daisy. I think this will look really nice with the look. So I'm going to go in first with just a quick nude lip liner. This is shade 218 Rose from Dior. There's a lot of sparkle on the eye, so I think keeping the lip nude is the best way to go. I really love the Lawless Forget the Filler Lip Balm. It's one of my favorite lip balms. So I'm excited to try this gloss. It's like the perfect pink, Velvet Daisy. It smells really good, wow. It smells like strawberry. My poor lips are so dry, it's kind of clinging to the dry patches. But what a beautiful lip gloss, I love that. The gloss itself is beautiful, and it has that slight tingle to it. It's a little plumping. The lips stole the show. I love this lip combo. I love the eyes. Actually, the eyeshadow is probably my favorite part. I love this lip gloss. The mascara is amazing. The only thing I'm not loving right now is the cheek, because it's a little bit too purple. I think if it was more of a warm peachy pink, it would be perfect. But that's okay. That's what happens when you test so many new products all at once. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but it's a great way to sort of experiment and figure out what you like, what you don't like. Step out of the comfort zone a little bit. Not a bad look considering how many new products we tried today. This is the finished makeup look for the day. I quickly peeped in the vanity mirror. I didn't love what I saw. I'll scoot in nice and close, turn it down. I don't want it to be too bright, but I want you to see the makeup as it is. This might be the first time or one of the few times that I really like the eye, I really like the lip, and the complexion is what sort of let me down. And I don't hate it overall. It's maybe different than what I'm used to, but not bad. I don't hate any of these products, and I'm actually really excited to experiment and play around with these again. I love this eyeshadow palette from NARS. This is stunning. I love the color story. For me, somebody who hasn't really been collecting eyeshadow palettes for a long time, it feels somewhat different. I like that it's not a warm, neutral palette because those are the shades that I live in on a regular basis. So this sort of forces me to do something a little bit different. I love that eyeshadow. That is seriously one of the prettiest eyeshadows I have. Just this color right here. If this was sold as a single, maybe just those two, a duo of those two sparkles up there, I would love that as well. A little fallout, nothing crazy, nothing that you can't fix with a little concealer, or just do your eyes first and you would be fine. But it's just so dreamy and it looks wet and glossy. I love it. The eye is probably my favorite part. I really, really like this eyeshadow palette. This, 10 out of 10. The lip gloss is really nice as well. I love a plumping lip gloss. It's pink, it's glossy. I mean, this is really hard to mess up, and I think the Lawless products are really great because they're so smoothing. My lips are really dry at the moment, so this is amazing. This is my new Holy Grail mascara. I know it sounds dramatic, but I've been looking for a new mascara, and I was thinking about going back to the old Gucci anyways. I didn't realize that this was on the horizon, but I've been testing this for a really long time now, probably a month at least. And I think it's amazing. This is my ideal wand. If I could describe the wand that I want with my mascara, it would be this. The foundation. I am sort of torn on this foundation. I don't know if I hate it. I definitely don't love it right now, but I think it's really hard to judge because I don't really like the blush. I knew I wasn't a huge fan of the blush. I just really wanted to show it to you guys. So I don't know. I need to test this out again. I might wear it. I'm probably not going to wear it tomorrow because I think I have a no makeup day. I have some errands to run. I don't love the way it's settling on my chin, around the nose. It's doing that weird breaking apart thing. It seems like it goes on a bit like face paint, very thick. You might really like that. So it all depends on your personal preference. I would say that it didn't dry down super matte. My skin doesn't look dehydrated anywhere. It just looks a little bit too heavy on the skin. Like I have a lot of foundation on my face. I need to keep playing around with it. So this I'm sort of up in the air. And then we have the Ube collection from Huda Beauty. The powder is not as brightening as I normally like it. I went in with a very light concealer, but because the powder has so much color, it definitely toned down, I think, the brightness of the concealer. I'm used to going in with a white powder or the cupcake. It's not something that I would reach for all the time, but I can see myself using this again in the future. I think for the right look, it makes sense. It's very rosy on the face. The blush is just not the most flattering shade on me. A little bit is okay. I could maybe mix this with something else. It's tough to pull off, in my opinion. Definitely not something that I would blind buy. This is a shade that you really want to swatch on your hand, try it on your face if you can in store. I know sometimes using testers is a little bit scary, but it's not my favorite shade on myself, and I really don't love it that much on other people either. That's just my opinion. I'm looking forward to hearing yours and hearing what you think about today's makeup look. So that completes today's video. Thank you so much for watching and seeing me experiment with these new products. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Leave me your comments, questions down below. As always, I will be linking and tagging all of the products mentioned. Everything on my face will be down below in the description box for your convenience. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.